Hi, I'm Jodie Benvenst, a psychologist, parenting author and the Director of Parent Wellbeing, and this is the St John's Grammar Learning Early series. This is a series for parents of young children who are about to start early learning or school or preschool. And last episode we talked about behaviour and discipline and how we can use some of the tactics that teachers use in the classroom at home. And this episode we're going to talk about healthy eating, which is another, sometimes a bit of a battleground for parents. Today we've got Karon Milham from Milham Dietitians here.
Jodie.
Hi. And we've also got Camille, who's a mum at the school. Karon's a mum at the school too. She has 3 children and Camille has 4 children. So what I wanted to do, Karon, maybe start with you and talk about why it's really important to teach our kids about healthy eating.
Teaching them about healthy eating will enable them to have a longer and better quality of life, as well as do better at school and be overall happier and more confident children.
It really does have a link, doesn't it, to learning and their development, and that's why it's so important.
It does. What we eat affects how we learn, our concentration, how much sleep we need, and also how confident we are because of our weight that we may end up becoming as a result of what we eat. Yeah,
absolutely. So Camille, has healthy eating ever been an issue in your house, like trying to teach your kids those sorts of strategies?
Yes, it has, and I suppose when they're little and you're busy and it's sometimes easier to grab the things that aren't so good for you. But I've realised that it is important to teach them from an early age.
Yeah, it does set them up for life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
So, Karon, you've brought some fantastic looking lunchboxes here, because sometimes it can be hard for parents to know, well, what is a healthy lunchbox? What should we put in them? So, should we have a look through? Do you want to go through what you've packed here?
Yes, what we've got here today is 3 balanced lunchboxes that would suit children's needs really from school age onwards. Those that are a little bit younger would need to be careful with some of the items, which is the celery and the muesli bar, because they're a little bit crunchy. But what we've got is a balance of all the food groups. They need that at lunchtime to keep their energy levels up. Now, if some children don't like some items, it's important to educate them over time so that they're more motivated to eat them and to introduce them slowly and repeat that introduction so they become more adapted to them.
Because that's the thing, sometimes I think as parents we give them something and they don't like it and then we never give it to them again, but we actually have to give kids the same food over and over so they get used to it.
Small amounts with other foods that they enjoy. So for example, if they like pizza but they don't like tomato, you could put the tomato on the pizza. Or if they don't like pumpkin but they like chips, you could make pumpkin chips. And so they slowly adapt to expanding their taste buds and their repertoire of foods that they're willing to eat. So here, for example, we've got a wrap that's a white wrap. Some children don't like wholemeal bread, and it may not just be the taste of the bread, it could be the colour. They like white as a colour. So here we have a wrap that's a white high fibre bread. And it's got lettuce and carrot and cheese and tuna and low-fat mayonnaise. Whereas the other rolls, this one's a roll, and this one has chicken and lettuce and avocado. That's a wholemeal roll. And this one is a multigrain bread where we have egg and lettuce and mayonnaise. So different types of breads appeal to different children. It's good to have variety because the same thing day in, day out. The lunch could end up in the bin or swapped with another child who may have chips for lunch. So we don't want that either because once we put it in the box, we don't know whether it's going to be eaten or not. Also, we've got our grains, we've got fruit. So here we have a peach, lovely grapes here, and an apple over here. Now we also have fruit in the form of dried fruit. So we've got sultanas. We have a little drink that can be frozen and used as an insulator for the lunchbox rather than using an ice brick. So you can have the drink double as an ice brick as well as a drink, and it's lovely and cold by lunch. Over here we've got a little tub of fruit. No, we haven't, but what we could have put in here is a little container of the Tetra Pak. You can get that in peaches and apple. Now we also have dairy food in each lunchbox. So here we have a cheese stick. Grated cheese comes in this wrap. Here we have a yogurt. And here we have also a little bit of low-fat cream cheese in the celery. And here a low-fat milk drink that's increased in calcium content. Children have more calcium needs than adults. Moving on, we have a bit of vegetable. We have celery, although be careful for children under the age of 4 because their back teeth haven't developed enough. We have lettuce in the sandwich. Here we have some little baby cucumbers, which some children are quite willing to eat, like little tiny tomatoes. And that way they stay nice and fresh as well till lunchtime.
Yeah.
We also have some banana bread. So just take this. This is a lovely wholemeal banana bread. It's low in fat. It's got eggs, wholemeal flour, bananas, a little bit of cinnamon, only a tablespoon of sugar for a whole loaf, and a little bit of canola margarine.
Okay.
We have a muesli bar, a low-fat muesli bar, and over here we have some corn thins with Vegemite and just a thin scrape of margarine. So we can get all our food groups with a variety of different foods, and that's not all. I mean, there's so many vast more options that you can choose. But it's good for children to have taste, variety, in not only colour and flavour, but texture and temperature. So you've got things that are cold as well.
And you've got the clear plastic lunchboxes here, but you suggest that the insulated ones probably work better with the ice brick?
Yes, well, you want, on a hot summer's day, things like cold meats or chicken or tuna could be a bit dangerous by the time they get to lunchtime, and sometimes children don't eat their sandwich till after school. So you want it to be safe. And if you've got either an ice brick in the lunchbox, or you've frozen one of the drinks, the milk or the juice drink, then with an insulated lunchbox it'll all stay cool till when they eat it. And then the other thaws out to be nice and cold by the time they actually...
These look great, so colourful and so tasty, and for, as you say, variety and covering the food groups. So how do we actually, I might go to Camille here, how do you get your kids involved in healthy eating at home?
Well, it did become a challenge for me to even remember what everybody liked. So I came up with the idea of my red snack box. So I've put what I'm happy for them to eat in there, which is like, I've got the rice crackers so that they can get involved, they can pick out their own snacks, they can make their own lunches, and obviously I have the cheese sticks and the yogurts in the fridge. And I also make sure that I have the plastic spoons in here so that to go with their, tubs, so they're not taking my metal spoons. So I've put this in here. They know that if there's a packet food, they're allowed one packet food. And I've sort of given them the guidelines of what they can take, but then they pack their own lunch and they're involved in. And now I find my high school girls, they do the lot, and they'll boil their eggs themselves to put into their wraps, and they grate their carrot. It's just my job to make sure I've got it all there for them to. Which
is great, and they're having some power then in choosing to.
Well then they're more likely to eat it, aren't they? Because they've picked it all out.
With guidance is good too. What you mentioned, you give them a rule with one packet food. Because I did that with my children too, and all the muesli bars went first. So and they had too many packets, and then there's none left for the other one. And so if they're able to follow your guidelines, that's good. And they get to a certain age, they should be able to.
And I also have had the attitude that I don't want it that strict, that when they do come around junk food, they just go crazy because they don't have any of it. Like, I really want them to learn that it's okay to have it sometimes in a balance. And because all my kids are heavily into sport, so they, they're aware, well, I'm exercising, so you can sometimes have those sort of...
That's right. And you say the same thing, don't you, Coron? It's not like never food. It's
important to allow them to have treats like chocolates or lollies or indulgences, chocolates and biscuits, sometimes chips, sometimes ice cream, sometimes. And it doesn't have to be every day, but it's also good to learn how to make these foods that are healthier so that they enjoy those tastes and more natural flavours.
So like the banana bread is a good example, isn't it?
You can vary the fruit in that, and I've written a cookbook with lots of different recipes for muffins and pikelets and cakes that you can have. Also, it's important for children to know that they're not different. If they're different, when they do get to a party, they may binge, or when they get older and got pocket money, that's all they'll spend it on, lollies down the local shop. So you're training them also for later.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is fantastic. I think there's so many great ideas here, and I think it is about knowing what is a healthy lunchbox, which is having the variety of food, so your dairy and your grains and your veggies and all of those things.
Motivation, I think, is the other key point, because a lot of parents want to do the right thing, but it's motivating the children, and this is where involving the children with shopping and giving them some choices at the shops, and also perhaps with making a vegetable patch, and if that's not possible with how much room you've got, a little pot with tomatoes where they can nurture the plant and then pick the produce and have it in their lunchbox. So it's also learning about nature, but also motivates them as well, and then even get them in the kitchen cooking. So from shopping to growing to cooking, starting with little things like a jelly, pancakes. My son's doing cooking at the moment and he's making French toast. So they work their way up, and of course with supervision over a hot stove. And then they can be proud of what they've cooked, and then when everyone's eating it, they can be very happy to get the compliments.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Then they're more likely to eat their lunch.
They are. Great tips. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming. I think, you know, it is really, really important to teach our kids healthy eating habits, and when they're young is the perfect time, because we do actually have some control over what they do and don't eat. So we're really setting them up for life, aren't we?
Yes, and what we see, what I see in my practice is parents often bring their children in for either nutrition issues or weight issues, where they're getting teased because they're overweight. So it's important for children to realise that eating healthy and losing weight isn't just about living longer and not having a heart attack when they get older, but they're going to feel better immediately. They're more motivated by now how they're going to feel. So if they have more energy, they can jump higher, run faster, feel better, learn better, and feel more confident. And with girls, as they grow up, certain clothes, they may want to wear certain clothes. It's a very important thing for them to notice the immediate benefits of eating healthier.
Thank you so much for both of you for being here. So healthy eating is really important for our kids. It's something that we can teach them from a very young age and set them up for life. I hope you've taken some ideas away from these healthy lunch boxes. And next episode, we're going to be talking about a particular style of teaching in the early years, the Montessori approach. It's fascinating, so I hope you can join me for the next episode. Thank you.